Hey, you fabulous bunch of people, welcome to Mood, the podcast that's here to sprinkle a little humour, drop some wisdom bombs, and occasionally let out a well-placed swear word or two. I'm Lex.
And I'm Lynn. And we're your hosts for this journey through all things relatable, embarrassing, and mood boosting. Whether you're sipping on a cup of coffee, sweating through a workout, or just lazing around in your PJs, we've got the kind of content that makes you snort, think, and maybe even question your life choices.
Sit tight because things are about to get real, hilarious, and possibly a little NSFW. So grab your headphones, turn up the volume, and get ready for a podcast that's unpredictable as life itself.
Mood. We're relatable as fuck.
Excited to have our first guest.
Yeah, I'm very honoured to be the first guest. I'm so excited to be
here.
Do you want to tell everybody a bit about who you are, and what you do, and just, we invited you obviously because one, you showed interest in wanting to talk about friends, but obviously you are an unapologetic coach and you're all about confidence and all that. So I'm going to give you the floor to introduce yourselves to everybody and a bit about who you are and what you do.
Thank you. Yeah, so my name's Robin. I am the unapologetic coach. So I basically work with business leaders, teams, individuals on how to access their own confidence and how to basically grow their confidence in a sustainable way without as much need for external validation. So the unapologeticness is basically stepping into whoever you are in your fullness and just being authentic to who you are and really enjoying that person and not feeling shame or fear of doing that. So that's where the name comes from. Lex and I met on a fitness journey, which we're still very much on. It's very exciting. So I guess even there's that self-development piece, right? And wanting to kind of step even further into ourselves. And obviously, Lynn, I'm just meeting you now, which is all very exciting. So that's kind of my headline.
Thank you for that. Lynn and I thought we'd ask you just one or two random questions as well, just as like a little icebreaker. And just, I'm going to probably maybe tell an anecdote afterwards about Robin and I just very quickly after this. But let's ask you some questions, get to know you. Lynn, do you want to ask a question first?
Yeah. So we usually start with just kind of icebreakers, and then we just kind of see where the conversation takes us. Usually kind of 90 minutes, 2 hours down the line, we're like, what was the question again? But yeah, I'll start with what advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
Oh, crikey. There's a few bits, I think. Some I'll share, some I won't. Just give less of a shit. I think at that age, I just cared so much about being on track and am I achieving as much as everyone else? Am I doing the right thing? I questioned myself on everything, and it was so exhausting looking back on relationships, on friendships, on did I make the right university decision? All of these different things. And it feels like such a pivotal moment, I think, in life as well, because you're I'm transitioning from being a minor, from being a child and being told what to do, to stepping into making your own decisions and stuff. And I found that really terrifying rather than oh my God, this is so exciting. So I think I'd almost shake myself by the shoulders and be just find it all a bit more exciting. It's going to be great. You're going to be fine. Is probably the advice I'd give.
No, I love that. It's true. I think we all feel that way a little bit. It's that thing of, you're right. You go from being a 17-year-old kid, right, and then all of a sudden you're an 18-year-old adult and you're expected to make all your life decisions and they're all going to be correct. And, your parents obviously, all those around you will support you obviously in whatever decision you make. But it's a case of, pick yourself up if you fall down, and if you don't, then you're just a bonus that you've made the right decision. So, yeah, I get that. It's very difficult. I had a very random one for you. Because I was thinking about girls and girl power and all that crap, and the Spice Girls came into my head, and I thought, okay, so if you could be any Spice Girl, whether it's the one that's already in the band or one that you want to make up for yourself, which one or who would you be and why?
Okay, I'm going to make a new one up.
That's brilliant.
And I don't think it's going to be as sexy as the other girls, but that's okay. I think I'd want to be Silly Spice.
Okay.
I feel so often and I'll maybe touch on this in a bit, I feel like I'm a really deep person and sometimes take everything really seriously and look for the meaning in everything. And actually, if I could transport into anything, it would just to be a bit more silly and lighthearted and have fun with everything a bit more. So I'm picturing like a clown outfit, which probably doesn't compete with like, you know, Victoria Beckham, but you know, that's where my brain went. So
I think you would look great next to Posh Spice in your clown outfit.
in my clown outfit, yeah.
I like that one.
Lynn, what about you?
Oh, I'm not as creative as coming up with a new one, but when I don't know who you guys were, but when we were in the bands in school, because you had your little your girl group and you were always one of them, I was for some reason always Posh Spice. Don't know why. Maybe it was the hair, maybe it's because I had dark hair. So I was Posh Spice. What she has achieved as well from the band and what she's used her platform for, you know, she was always the one that people kind of shat on. Basically, she can't sing, she can't dance, but look at her now.
Mate, she's a very clever businesswoman. I rate her for that, for sure.
Exactly. Good marketing and, everything. The Beckham brand, VB. Yeah, she's done well. She's done well. So that's who I would be.
I like it.
Much better answer than mine. Glad you said it. What about you, Lex? Which one are you going for?
I mean, I think I would have gone maybe for like sarcastic Spice, I suppose. I don't know, just like a bit of sass, bit of sarcasm. You know, that I feel that always is winning in life. I feel like that's it'd rather be quick witted than be sexy or scary, I suppose. So yeah, maybe I'll go for that one instead.
You love a bit of sarcasm.
Yeah, and the illustration is on point, so, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The thing that I was going to mention earlier, which is Robin and I, as Robin mentioned, we met through doing a fitness program that we're still both currently on, which is Anna Marie Fitness. Shout out to Anna, by the way. I'm sure she's going to absolutely love that. And we also have a mutual friend, which is Lenny. I used to work with Lenny. Robin works with Lenny. And Lenny did say to Robin and myself that Robin and I would actually get on really well. Like, she was like, oh, you two would get on so well. And I was like, oh, cool, you know, didn't think anything of it. And I was like, that's really nice to hear. And we met each other doing this whole photo shoot. So we did a photo shoot, which was about body confidence, like pushing yourself out of the comfort zone and loving yourself, like no matter what part of the journey that you're at. And it was a really fun day. And we had this photographer called Ben. He was brilliant, a little bit scary, but he was brilliant, was so friendly. And Robin and I, the reason when I knew that Robin and I would get on is that there was one bit where Ben was kind of like telling us to do something. We were both like, yes, sir, like kind of whatever. And then both of us at the same breath, like we didn't even think about it, both went, yes, daddy. It was like a joke. And we were just like, we were both so in sync. And it was like, that's okay, now I know why we'd get on. It was just like brilliant.
I cannot believe you've just outed me, Lex. Look how blushing I am. I can't believe
she's blushing.
That was kind of like a really pivotal moment of, I knew we would be friends.
There's that. There are moments, aren't there? It's like you can almost pinpoint it back when you make friends with someone, and it's that second connection or something where you're like, yeah, you are going to be my friend. And whether or not it happens then or later on down the line, you just kind of get a vibe, don't you? And you get kind of a good feeling with people. And I think that's a really nice story.
Love that story. And I was like, oh God, what's she going to say? What's she going to say? Do you know what? Spot on. It was that moment. And you're so right. That and the playlist. I was like, okay, the banter and the naughty banter and the playlist. I was like, yeah, fair. I've got a good one here, you know. And it's always good to be recommended by another friend, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, sometimes it's hard when you put like a bunch of people together and you're just expected to get on. You know, you can go either way, right? But even in the group, it was kind of like I feel like the girls all felt the same. Like everyone got on so well, but you knew who you were kind of like levitating towards more
and gravitating towards. Yeah.
You knew
all levitating,
all levitating, lift you up and
what kind of fitness is this?
That's amazing.
And it got me when we were talking about like subjects, Lynn and I, about what we should talk about. One of the things we sort of came up with that I feel like when you go through school or work or whatever, it's quite easy to make friends when you do something new. But I think also as you get older, it's quite hard to make new friends and especially find a common ground and things like that. And I don't know, like girls, I mean, like I'm 38. Lynn, I think you're the same age as me, if I remember rightly. Maybe.
Yeah, 37. Yeah, roundabout. Yeah.
Robin, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
29.
Oh, you're a baby.
I'm Although everyone thinks I'm about 40, just because I'm such like a grandma deep down. But I am turning 30 in a couple of weeks, actually. So I'm catching up.
No, there's still, listen, you're still babies. Make the most of those 20s whilst you still can, for sure. But like, for you, okay, so you're a bit younger than us. How hard do you find it to make friends at the moment? Or like, where, if you were like, say, oh, actually, I want to change my network up, like, how would you go about doing that?
I find it equally as difficult, but my standards are higher and my standards are different.
Yeah, I get that.
So when I was younger, having maybe more people around me, like a higher number of friends, was important to me. I thought, you know, at the time, I thought that is a measure of how good a person I am, or how funny I am, or how, you know, insert blank here I am.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I almost want as little number of friends as possible, because I just think the quality, A, just less admin, but B, the quality.
The WhatsApp chat. It's like, oh, fucking hell, not another one.
But also, like, the quality I look for, and also you'll find much fewer people once you know what you want, know who you are, know what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not willing to tolerate. That wedge becomes a lot thinner of who is going to be friends with you and who you want to be around. What was the question?
Like, what if you were to like wanting to find a new friendship group now? Like, how do you think you would go about that? Like, would you, like, for example, I don't know if you guys see these, like, you know, you get like the apps that are like here to make new friends, like girls wanting to like connect and stuff. Like, would you girls actually go onto an app like that to make friends realistically?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I went on Bumble Friends or Bumble, because there's Bumble Dating, Bumble Business, where you can find kind of business partner people, I don't know, and then business Bumble Friends, I think it's called, something like that. And when I first moved back down to London in 2017, I did. And much like the dating apps, I just hated it. I was like, this feels so transactional, and how can I possibly get a vibe off someone on this? That was me. I hear it is amazing for people. What I think I'd prefer is going to an event or being part of something that everyone's, you know, like what we've got, we're working towards a common goal. We know we're kind of like-minded, and we can suss each other out without the pressure being on, because the focus is something else, right? So, but I have done it through work. I've found new friends through work. That's quite a good, it's a captive audience, right? So they're not going anywhere. So you can kind of like make them your friend.
That did. Yeah.
That's what literally what we did.
You're going to be my friend.
Exactly, right?
You enticed me with a podcast. I couldn't say no.
Exactly. That's how I'm going to get her.
Yes, like you said, that common ground, I suppose, work colleagues turn into friends, I guess, because there's that shared 8 hours a day. Like, you spend more time with them
100%
partner sometimes, right? So I think work is quite a natural way, but shared hobbies, I think, or but it's difficult as an adult, I think, making new friends, like deciding to make new friends. It's a tricky, it's not easy, right?
I almost feel like it's almost like you're dating. I mean, the Bumble thing kind of is almost similar. Like you said, it's a bit transactional. You sort of feel like you're dating a little bit, and I find it hard to make friends that actually like and want to do the same things that I want to do. And I think and also I feel like, this is no disrespect to any of my friends that have children and that, but also, like, I don't have children, and a lot of friends obviously that do have kids, you know, you do get some that are now at that age that they're like, okay, I'm ready to go back out again and have fun, etc., etc. But most of them do want to stay home with their families, and that's totally understandable, and I get that. But then it's kind of like, I'll be honest, like, I don't have any friends, as far as I can think of just very instantly, that don't want to have children, and then that's it. Like, most of them are, I haven't had them yet, or they have them. So sometimes that I think that side of things can get a bit lonely, because it's like, well, where do I go to meet those people? Like, what do they do? Who are they? And they're not just like, you know, and then they're people that actually do want to go out and socialise and stuff too. But I think for new mums it's difficult, because as well as you want to make friends, but I guess you don't always want to make friends that have children and stuff too, because then we
it's
children,
tough, right? So I've got 2 kids, and you do if you don't have like a a group of friends who aren't all ready to have children at the same time as you, then, you know, it's very difficult. And things like that are, you know, you don't really sit and plan with your friends, right? Well, I'm going to have a baby at this time. And what about you? Maybe we should, you know, it doesn't happen like that. Yeah. So they have like these groups which you can join, to try and meet kind of parents of kids with the same age and stuff like that. And, you know, to be honest, like I felt like it was kind of forced, and you're there and you're kind of sitting talking, oh, you know, they still on formula milk, and you know, and all this crap, and you're losing yourself and you're losing your mind as a new mum. You're like, that's not me, that's not who I was, I'm still Lynn. Yeah, I'm a mum, and yeah, I see, I met you at a mum group and whatever, but it's like, okay, that's not my vibe. So it took me 2.5, 3 years to actually find a good bunch of like mum friends, if you like. And yeah, we're all mums and whatever, but it's different because I think we all kind of had the same, you know, we are still people as well, and this is who I am. And I feel kind of very lucky in that sense that I've met kind of a group of people who recognize that. And luckily as well, our personalities kind of drew to each other. You know, it's not, you know, we all feel the stresses and we all feel the frustrations, but we still recognize that actually we are people, still women at the end of the day, and we will still have our own personalities, and it's trying to find ourselves as well. And I think, yeah, like I said, I found it really, really hard. I put myself out there as well, like in baby groups, and it was weird, and it's kind of like dating. It's so strange, like trying to make friends when you're an adult, and it's like, do you want to take my number? I know we've only spoken for like 5 minutes, but you know, maybe we can do something sometime, you know. And it's so like, and no one ever gets back to you, and it's like, it is really strange. And I've done that, and I'm gonna hold my hands up and be honest. And I've had like mums who've come to me, like they say, well, I recognise you from a baby group, take my number, and you know, maybe we can do something sometime. And it's like, okay, cool. And it's like, I'm not gonna phone you, like, and I feel really bad. I hold my hands up to that, because it's like, you know, I see what you're doing, and I know you're putting yourself out there, and it's like, but I don't really know you. But I think even taking that step anyway, and, you know, putting yourself out there, it's kind of building that step towards, okay, you know, I've done it, I've given my number, now what? And, you know.
That's the other thing as well, is that those forced friendships as well, because you're trying to make friends, and it sounds so mean, but there is people that I know that I'm like, they'll message and they'll say, we should really meet up. And I'm always like, yep, sure, tell me when. Yep, just tell me when. I won't set the date, but just tell me when. And it sounds...
Put yourself out there, right, as well. Like, and I would probably go, and I've had that situation, and I've kind of bounced off like my other half going, oh, I don't know, I'm not really feeling it. He goes, well, just go. If you don't like it, you know, you come home or whatever. But, and you never know. You might just enjoy it.
That's so funny. It's like the reverse of dating, right? You're sat with your girl mates being like, oh, I don't know if I'm feeling it. And they're like, no. And then you're sat with your partner and they're like, oh. Literally the reverse. It's so funny.
I feel so bad because I will sit there and say, oh, you know, I find it really hard to like make new friends and stuff now I'm a bit older. And then you'll get some people that reach out and I'm like, yeah, but not you. I just find it hard.
I don't want you.
You're lovely. I don't want you, but we're not going to be those. I don't know. It's like really difficult. Like I will say, like I think I get on with most people. Like I think, like I'm sure we all do. Like you can vibe with them quite well. I think we're both all three of us come across as quite confident women that we can just socialize quite easily. But I will always say to my husband, like, that person was really nice, they're just not my person. Like, they're not my right. Does that make sense? Like, they're just not my person. They're lovely. I can't see us going out together.
Get on with lots of people,
sure,
but who you select as your chosen family, who you select as investing that time and that effort and that commitment to, as someone that is a genuine, meaningful friend. And, you know, and some people are really happy to have those surface level kind of acquaintances and dabble in and out and stuff. I'm not that person. For me, it's deeper than that. So I totally get you. Like, I could get on with a whole room full of people. Am I going to invest my Sunday morning and go for a coffee with them and talk about their week? Probably not. I'm going to be a lot more selective with that piece of time. But might I go for a drink if they're on the same night out with me? Yeah, probably. Yes. So it's different layers, I suppose, to that, I think, is I totally relate to what you're saying there.
Do you know what I like though? It's like low maintenance friends. Like, those ones where you're like, you kind of sit there and you do make plans and you see something, go, oh my God, we should go to this. And like 6 months later you go, oh, what did we say we'd do again? And then you make a date and then it's like no one contacts each other until like the day before. And then you just do like the emoji eyes. And it's just like, so, and we're like, yeah. And we're like, are we still on? And we're like, oh, I don't know. It's one of those where, yeah, I'm really tired. Yeah, me too. Okay, I don't mind. It's absolutely fine. Absolutely cool. Let's just, let's try again in another 6 months. And then within those 6 months, keep sending them links of stuff that you should do. But, the intention is there. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, sometimes it's like, okay, I mean, well.
I do miss a little bit though. When I was younger, obviously when you're younger, it's easier. You did have those last minute, like, what are we doing tonight? Nothing. Should we go out?
Yes.
Like, do you want to go out for a bit? Those days are gone. And now it's like, oh, what are you doing in 3 months from now? And then you'll put it in your diary and like you said, totally forget about it. Like, I know I've actually got an event supposed to be coming up in the next week or so to see friends of mine. And I know they've all forgotten it as well. It's in their diary, but I know none of us have paid any attention to it. And we'll get near to it and then we'll start talking ourselves out of doing it. And I hate that because I'm like, I actually kind of want to hang out with you guys and do something. But it's just, that's the only thing I do miss with being younger is like,
the spontaneity.
Yeah, that seems to have gone. I get it. I think since COVID, people can't be bothered to go out as much, and I understand it. Or they've just got their much busier lives now because they've been quiet for the last 2 or 3 years.
Well, they're just shattered. Like, you think after a long week or a long day, do I want to go out and do X, Y, Z, or do I want to go and lay like a vegetable on my bed and watch like Grey's Anatomy? Probably Grey's Anatomy. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's nothing against anyone, but it's just adulting, and you're like, oh, so tired.
Well, that's it. But it's like, I think, Lex, you hit the nail on the head there. It's COVID. And, a lot of people work from home now. Whereas before you were out, you were in the office. And so you were already out. And it was like, oh, we're just going to pop to the bar for 1. And then at 3 a.m, it's like, oh, well, I should probably go home. Got work tomorrow. But do you know what I mean? It's like, you can't, now it's like, okay, I've got to get ready and I've got to go. Just, you still got to get yourself ready as well. It's like, whereas at work, you're just like, whatever, leave the office, go straight to the bar.
But now it's like, leave the office. Oh, I need to go and catch my train. I'm going to go straight. In London now. I was like, nope, I'm all right.
No. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Robin, as well, I was going to ask you actually as well, because it's going to sound random, but I feel like I've started to get this now that the more followers I'm getting is that you get people that are now wanting to hang out with you more so because of what you're doing. And I sometimes wonder, is it because of what you're doing or because they've just realised they want to actually hang out with you? I was wondering, do you have anything like that? Because obviously you do like the whole like coaching and things like that. Do you get people wanting to like be friendly with you more so because of that?
Absolutely not. No. So I would take that with both hands, Lex. But also, I feel like when I've had like a workshop and people have spent the day with me, I think the last thing they want to do is spend another moment with me. I think almost I've like exhausted them. No, in a good way. In like a good way, they're probably like, "Oh my god, like that has been." It's normally an intense experience. In a good way, like that's the point, right? We're there to share that together, and to kind of reflect. And it's, I think it. I think people want to go away and separate and kind of almost digest what's happened. I don't know whether, my online following is not something I've worked on, and it's definitely not as strong as yours. Yeah, amazingly, you've done a really, really cool job. So maybe when I've got the same amount of followers, maybe it would be a case of people kind of really gelling with that and wanting to be around that a bit more because it's in a different setting, I suppose. I think maybe it's a case, I think what you guys have done so well so early on is really that vulnerability piece, and kind of, I feel like we've got such a great snapshot of what you're about, what this is about, and I think a lot of people will resonate with that and therefore be like, oh my god, they're my kind of person, my kind of women, right? And I think the more vulnerable and open and kind of upfront you are about who you are, the ones that don't like you will absolutely write you off, and the ones that do will really gravitate. Do you know what I mean? And that's when you get to know yourself better and you present yourself in a way that is authentic, then it clears the yeses and the nos a lot quicker. Do you know what I mean? So maybe that's what's happened with your situation.
And so are they like old friends? What are the people that you've not spoken to in like years, you know, or they kind of like social, you know, like social media friends? Who are these people?
Tell us more.
Who are they?
I feel like it's a bit of a, do you know what, it's funny, it's a bit of a mix. So I've had some people that I haven't spoken to in absolute ages, or some come out of the woodwork, and that's quite, you know, it's not a bad thing, it's nice, but I always get a bit like, oh, okay, like, I haven't spoken to you in flipping ages, so where have you been, like, you know. But it is sweet, because I do see it as in, if people are reaching out and they're trying to make effort, even though we've said all that stuff about, oh, you know, do I want to see this person, etc., etc. It's nothing like that. It's just sometimes like, do I want to put them also in a situation where we're trying to hang out and gel, but there's not really anything to like gel on, right? So it's like a false state almost, and I wouldn't want to put them in that position. And you know, I don't want to, you know, my time and like theirs is precious, you know, like we're busy people, and you want to make sure that you're spending it with people that do love and care for you and actually want to grow a relationship with you. So I've had some that have been from the past, I've had some that are actually, do you know what, and I like this, it's actually I do love the Instagram thing, because obviously it's got its good and its bad points, obviously, but I'm actually starting to make new friends on there with people I don't know. Like, I'm never going to meet them, like, because it's an online thing and they all live miles away. But you know, I can definitely name a couple of accounts where I've made friends with people, you know, across the seas, or like further in the UK, further north. And that's really quite nice, because actually on that one, it's definitely a case of it's relatable what I'm doing, and obviously they're doing something similar, and we're gelling with that, so that's quite nice. And then you do get the odd ones that you're definitely not really friends with anymore, that are watching, not following, but they are watching watching every story.
Not following, but watching.
Not following,
that's good.
but watching.
Yeah.
And those ones I always get a bit like, I won't block them, like I don't see the point. It's kind of a bit like, watch it, it's fine, like I hope they get something from it, you know. It's not me saying, oh, like, fuck them, why they're looking, but I do find it funny. It's like, you're not following, but you're looking at, you go onto the account to watch every single story. That I find quite interesting.
Yeah.
And they're the ones I'm always a bit like, okay, why? But
yeah, I've had a lot more of that. I've had a lot.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, people that we have either ended on bad terms, or people, you know, it's got maybe quite nasty in the past with like fallout and stuff. And a lot of those people I'll see watching stories, or, you know, going on my TikTok and stuff. And like I said, it's not really massively active as accounts, but it's always interesting to see the people that don't like you or have nothing good to say about you that are looking. And that is, I always find, and we've talked about this actually, haven't we, the two of us, that's such an interesting thing to me. If you don't want what's going on here, then why are you looking? And it is a really interesting development, I think, and something that social media creates that would never happen in real life, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, what would they do? Like, peek around a wall and watch what you're... Do you know what I mean? But obviously online...
right.
Yeah, and online it's normal, but it's actually totally not normal to stalk someone when you don't like them anymore. So it is a bit weird.
Yeah.
But we're nosy by nature, right? And I think... I mean, I don't know, you guys might not still do the same thing, but, you know, sometimes, like, I will, like, you'll look at an ex, for example, and be like, oh, I wonder what they look like now, I wonder what they're doing now, did they settle down, etc. Like, you know, or you have a discussion with your friends, like, oh, do you remember that person that we used to be friends with? Like, I wonder what they're doing now, and things like that. I think we are just nosy like that, and I think the one-off times are okay. But I think if they're doing it on a regular basis, I find that a little, on the daily.
Because this person isn't, with these people or person aren't following, they're like actively seeking you out as well. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not coming up on their feed. So they're going, right, you know, whatever, Instagram account, let me see what she's up to. Oh, she's got, you know, yeah, exactly,
Which is why I find it weird, because you're actively going on to see, you know, like, we might still be Facebook friends, for example, and it will pop up on the stories, fine, but on like Instagram, where we're definitely not, you've gone out of your way to search my username to see what like the latest is on there. Like, it's cool on there, like, it's cool, it's giving me more views, I don't mind, like, it's fine, it is what it is. Like, and like I said, I hope it's nice reasons why they're looking at it, might not be, but I hope they're taking something from it. But I do find there's that voiceover where it's like, oh, I loved the post that you were doing or whatever, and it's like, oh, so you did see it. It's like, oh, why didn't you follow me? Like, there's that whole thing, and I do find that kind of interesting that you will view it shitloads of times, but you won't support that person further. But I guess that's the thing of friendships, right? Like we've all been, I'm sure all of us have got stories here. Robin, I'm sure you're going to want to share one maybe of like times we've been burnt by friendships, and like what do you take from that, and you know, how do you deal with that going forwards and that? I mean, is there anything that you like want to share with us at the moment? Things up?
In the next episode of Mood,
I decided to shave my hair off because why not?
I'll put the phone down right now, and I don't ever want to speak to you again. And that was that. And my friends like just communicating memes.
Use chat AI, just chat GPT to help to reply back to a friend that you don't know what the fuck to say to them.
What are my friendship goals for the year? I think, like I said, I've got that list of names, and I think I want to, what's the audit is the word I'm looking for. I want to almost, and that sounds like a weird thing. But I almost
maybe Cole, is that too? Not Cole. No. Okay. I was just checking. Just checking.
Mood, we're relatable as fuck.